The live stream, apologies for that. Those watching audio and visual at home on the Rotax Max Euro Trophy website, Rotax Max Challenge-eurotrophy.com. So we now have our first of two finals for the DD2 and the DD2 Masters category. 31 competitors in all. So 16 rows. Your rows are as follows: Henkel, Mortens and Deru on row 1, then it's Pullinger and Schiblak on row 2, Lund and Andreasen row 3, Livres and Moransky row 4, Wellings and Wisnicki row 5, Villelainen and Andersson row 6, Adams and Schöll on row 7, Steinert and Tuzinski make it a all-German row 8, Van der Kaj and Fleischmann row 9, Slozan and Birisdor on row 10, Markkanen and Machacek on row 11, Hatzistefanis and Zaidas on row 12, Jana Stier and Manuel Teschert on row 13, Michael Becker and Patrick Weinstock, row 14, then it's Marius Solly-Paulsen, Thomas Piert, and last but by no means least, Russia's Maxim Sapochnikov, rounding out the 31-strong grid. So, as with the two finals that we've already seen today here, the order will be decided for final number 2 following whoever, so depending post-race, if there are any amendments by our stewards and scrutineering bays, scrutineers will decide the 31 strong running order for final number 2, which will conclude the first round of the 2018 Rotax Max Euro Trophy season here in Genk in Belgium. So your top 10 for final number 1 for the DD2s and the DD2 Masters. It's Henkel Mortens on pole with Deru on alongside Pullinger and Schiblak, row 2. Lund and Andreasen, row 3. Livres and Moransky, row 4. Wellings and Wisnicki round out the top 10. So, 14 minutes plus an additional lap. We'll see who is the first winner in the DD2 and DD2 Masters category. And Birisdor is a DNS, a do not start. So we are now down to 15 rows, 30 carts in all, and Birisdor was meant to start in 20th position. So now we are hopefully getting things underway. These guys will have to get into formation pretty quickly, as the front row are now coming around towards the final corner. Then it will be guiding themselves into the tram lines before the revs will rise on these 125 Rotax CC 125cc engines, and we go green and we are off. And Henkel Mortens gets the whole shot. Deru follows closely behind, and there's some moves up the inside. That's very close for comfort. Several carts running wide on the left-hand side going into turn 2, and we've got some bumping and barging. Looks like a couple of drivers involved, 410 and 413, looks like Van der Kaj and Steinert that were involved there. So leaders now coming through into turn 6 for the very first time. It's a right, left, right, then it's into a right into turn number 7. So let's just follow them for a moment, as we've got Henkel Mortens leading at the minute, coming down the hill, down the straight down into turn number 9, a nice sweeping right-hander. Then it's around to the left to turn number 10, as we come into the final sector of this 1,360-meter facility here in Genk, as Henkel Mortens is starting to stretch the legs on the 424 a little bit, as we now have about 13 minutes plus an additional lap times coming through, and Henkel Mortens has got quite a car under him. Watch out, Barry Pullinger's already up into second place. Got past Senderu, going into the turn 1 and 2 complex. So the Brit, who made a fantastic charge through the field, as it's a three-way scrap, three wide, going down the down the straight into turn number 6. There is some pod-to-pod contact there, and it looks like, I think Barry Pullinger's gone down into 5th position as a result. And now could end up going into 6th, depending on what happens. It's pod-to-pod contact between himself. Maybe Moransky is in there as well. And it's 3 wide coming out of turn number 9 into turn 10, as Henkel Mortens is now extending that gap. Now this is where Martin Henkel Mortens has a chance to just get away. That's what he needs right now. And between himself and Matthias Lund from 5th position, now in 2nd. Wisnicki from 10th. Piotr Wisnicki from Poland now up into 3rd position. Deru now down into 4th. Moransky is now ahead of Pullinger. That's 5th and 6th. Dionysius Liveris is now into 7th place. Fleischmann, who did some fantastic overtaking yesterday, the German in the 404, now up into 8th position. Schiblak, who was up in 4th when we started, is now down in 9th, ahead of Ville Villainen from Finland, who started in 11th place. But now this is why there's so much unpredictability in racing, especially at this level of European karting. And we've seen it time and time again. And both, all 3 finals so far have had dramatic moments. As Martin Henkel-Mortens is now over 2 seconds ahead of Matthias Lund, who's in 2nd. Wisnicki is in close proximity, as is Drew. So those 3 are separated by just half a second from 2nd to 4th position. Moransky in 5th, Barry Pullinger from the UK in 6th position. Fleischmann now has got past Dionysius Liveris for 7th. So the German again getting into the thick of it, getting the elbows slightly out, let's say, but can pull off some great overtakes. And as I said in the commentary yesterday, that in one of the qualifying heats, Fleischmann's going for it again and does a great move. I think that was on... Let's just have a look here. That's the 435. That is Drew on maybe Wisnicki. I'm not too sure. That is. So Drew now back up into 3rd place past Wisnicki, who drops to, Wisnicki now in 2nd. Drew now up into 3rd. Matthias Lund now down into 4th position. Moransky, Fleischmann, Pullinger, Liveris, Villainen and Schiblak are your top 10. Top 15 will get points, and for a win it is 25, and it's 20 for 2nd, 16 for 3rd, and then we go all the way to 15th place, where that person will pick up 1 point. But as I said when we got the live stream underway yesterday, it is dependent on the top 6 scores of each competitor, so they can have drop rounds. There are mitigating circumstances on when that is not the case. So, in terms of an exclusion, they can't get rid of that one. That cannot be expunged. So, Henkel-Mortens continues to lead, and the gap is an astonishing 2.7 seconds. As we've got some battling up and down the order. Looks like Drew has now got up into 2nd place. Wisnicki now in 3rd. And just wondering, is that Lund in 4th place in the 408? As Henkel-Mortens is continuing to just literally streak away. So it's Henkel-Mortens from Drew, from Wisnicki in 3rd. Then it's Lund in 4th. And looks like Fleischmann goes up the inside of Moransky into turn 9. So the German now into the top 5. 8 minutes and 30 on the clock, plus an additional lap, and I think that this gap will be further extended by the calm and cool as a cucumber efforts of Martin Henkel-Mortens, as there's more moves up the field, and that looks to be, I think, was that Wisnicki on Lund? That was, so Wisnicki now back up into 3rd position. Lund now drops to 4th. And they better watch out, because when they are battling, and here comes the charging German of Max Fleischmann, and is about to, I think, go up the inside of Wisnicki into turn number 6. Yes, he does. No, that was Lund, actually. So Fleischmann, again, getting in the mix, and is really putting on a show. Some great clean overtaking from the German in the 404. So Henkel-Mortens comes round turn 11 again, now into the final sweeping right-hander at turn number 12, down the start-finish straight. That gap is really being extended, hand over fist. So it is Henkel-Mortens, Drew, Wisnicki, Fleischmann, Lund, Liveris, Schiblak, Markkanen, Pullinger, Villainen. Van der Kaj is not taking any further part in this race, having now being shown as 4 laps down from everybody else. Jana Stier, the 421, who started in 25th, is now showing in 28th position. So still, it is, I have to say, the gap between Henkel Mortens and Dreux is now over 3¼ seconds. And I'm sure that might be further extended if the number 435 has something to say about it. But Biznicki better watch out behind, because here comes Max Fleischmann in the 404 from Germany, yet again, using the slipstream. Closes up in the braking zone, just shows how much grip that 404 actually has. And now they come through into turns 3 and 4. Remember, yesterday, he did some dynamite overtaking between turn 2 and turn number 5. 2 places, in fact, going from 4th to 2nd. And Fleischmann's got the toe. He's going to go for it. He's gone for it. He's got 3rd going into turn 6. Brilliant move past Biznicki. I have to say, that's awesome display of overtaking. I have to say, nice work by Fleischmann in the 404. That's impressive. Incredibly impressive. And has shown that you can overtake when you carry that momentum through, and it's not just through one corner. If you get the slipstream through, as we got Fleischmann coming into shot, and I think could be closing on the 2nd place man, Zenderu, in the 435, and has closed the gap by about 1/10.5. But with him is still going Biznicki and Matthias Lund. So, and then you've also got, I think, Dionysius Liveris is not that far adrift. Probably by about 3/10 last time around. So they go down the start-finish straight, and just out of shot has gone Martin Henkel Mortens, who continues to lead. The lead, what last time was 3.3 seconds. Fleischmann is going quickest out of the top 6 by over 1/10 of a second. With Lund 2nd quickest, Dreux 3rd quickest in terms of the top 6 when it comes to pure lap pace. So we are into the business end. The last 5 minutes plus an additional lap. Henkel Mortens crosses the line in the lead. Zenderu is still even Steven. That has stabilised that lead. And that's gone to 3.379 seconds. As Fleischmann is still trying to think of, well, he's got 4.5 minutes plus a lap to do it. He has got time to strategize, think of how to build up that momentum to get alongside Zenderu and go past. But it is still quite difficult to see at the moment. So Henkel Mortens comes down into turn number 9. As Dreux, Fleischmann, Biznicki, Lund, Liveris. That is your top 6. Top 15 will score points in the opening final of the day for the DD2 and the DD2 Masters. A little bit further down the order, just keeping an eye on some of the other drivers. Thomas Piert from Germany is now, had started 30th, now is in 17th position. So the gap now between Henkel Mortens and Dreux is now 3.4 seconds. But watch out, here comes Max Fleischmann from Germany in the 404. Then you've got the 3-way battle behind between Biznicki, Lund and Liveris. So there are battles way all the way through this field and a little bit further back. And Fleischmann's gone for it again! This guy never has ceased to amaze me this weekend. Max Fleischmann from Germany has definitely, what I think, had his ready break this morning, or maybe his Weetabix, as we say in the United Kingdom. But that is astounding. Fleischmann started a little bit further down the order, I have to say, but Max Fleischmann is clearly showing one of the most impressive overtaking displays in a single race alone. And ladies and gentlemen, he started 18th and he's now made up 16 positions. We're now into the final 2.5 minutes plus an additional lap. But I tell you what, Zenderu will have something to say. I guarantee you that much. But Fleischmann has been, quite literally, the man with the scythe in his hand, cutting aside the opposition. So now the gap between 1st and 2nd has extended to 3.5 seconds between Martin Henkel Mortens and new 2nd place driver Max Fleischmann, who is actually starting to pull away slightly. But a little bit further down the order, we still have the battle for 4th to 6th position, which is Biznicki, Lund and Liveris. They're coming into my line of sight, and Liveris is still waiting, I think. Liveris has been very competitive in the top part of this category this weekend, as we have 2 minutes left on the clock. Henkel Mortens' gap is still around the 3.5 second mark. And Fleischmann has got about a couple of 3 or 4 kart lengths between himself and Zenderu as well. So it looks as if that my call on Henkel Mortens was an educated guess, not a gut hunch, probably just an educated guess that he wanted to get away with it. And everyone was battling behind. And that has allowed him to just literally calmly get away from everybody. Meanwhile, the battle for second, I don't know if it's over yet, but we still have time left on the clock. 1 minute, 20 seconds, plus an additional lap to go in this first of 2 DD2 and DD2 Masters final. Henkel Mortens crosses the line leading and does a 54 treble 6. Fleischmann has slightly eked into that gap, but has pulled not much between himself and Deru as there's more overtaking. And I'm seeing now that was position. I think Livris went up into 5th. But Wisnicki, I think, has just got past. So 45 seconds on the clock here in the first final for the DD2 and the DD2 Masters. As there's more overtaking, it looks like Livris has gone back into 5th position. Nice clean overtaking by the Greek there. The 436. And behind them, they've got Markkanen now as well. Schiblak is there in striking distance. There is Barry Pullinger as well in 9th. So 21 seconds on the clock. Henkel Mortens now crosses the start-finish line. Gets his head down to get some aerodynamic properties. I mean, let's be honest, the karts have a uniform Nassau plate side pods and rear bumper configuration. So one of the things that these drivers will do is to put their head down and just keep a line of sight on the track, keep it on the racing line to go down the straight. But I think Henkel Mortens really doesn't need to do that anymore because he's now heading into turn number 6 for the penultimate time. Max Fleischmann, in the meantime, has dropped Zenderu by about half a second. Meanwhile, behind them, it's Matthias Lund and Dionysis Lividis with Markkanen and Wisnicki now down into 7th place. So they're now coming to... So Martin Henkel Mortens again now is still leading and knows that he can just sort of calmly hit the cruise control button. Not that there is one on these karts, but to calmly just go. And he crosses the line and it is 1 lap remaining. Now first of 3 first finals of the day here in Belgium, with Martin Henkel Mortens leading by 3.3 seconds from Germany's Max Fleischmann, who has quite literally stormed through the field. So it's going to be quite interesting to see what develops, if there will be any battles a little bit later on. And I'm just keeping an eye on a little bit further down the order. It looks like I think Dionysis Lividis might be back in 6th position. So whether Markkanen has actually got past for 5th. So here we go. It's the coming to the end, the inevitable conclusion of this first DD2 and DD2 Masters final here in Genk in Belgium. And it goes to the efforts of the 424 of Martin Henkel Mortens, who commands that from lights out to checkers flag. Well done to Max Fleischmann from Germany. 18th to 2nd at the end of it all, pipping Zenderu for second position. Matthias Lund and Markkanen round out the top 5 ahead of Dionysis Lividis with Wisnicki, Schiblak, Villelainen and Pullinger rounding out the top 10. So let's run you through the finishing order as they come across the start-finish line. We will have 27 drivers having completed this race, or maybe 26, as the last competitor, the 554 of Shaposhnikov, crosses the line. So let's run through the finishing order for DD2 and DD2 Masters. Final number 1 here before we go to the lunch break. A fantastic, commanding display by the number 424 of Martin Henkel Mortens ahead of Max Fleischmann from Germany. Zenderu takes 3rd ahead of Matthias Lund with Markkanen in 5th place. Dionysis Lividis from Greece rounds out the top 6 ahead of Wisnicki, Schiblak, Villelainen, Barry Pullinger, Lasse Andreasen, Slavio Muransky, Konstantin Scholl, Gilles Buellings and Manuel Tenschert, rounding out the first 15 drivers this year that now have points on the board. Rounding out the order was Tenschert, Zaiders, Tuzinski, Piert, Hatzistefanis, Steinert, Machacek, Paulsen, Becker, Stier, Weinstock, Schlosser, Shaposhnikov, Anderson, Adams and Van der Kaj were non-finishers, with Brizdor from Hungary being a non-starter.